Hey guys, Coach Jeff here with another Pro Hockey Breakdown. This time I've got something special for you. We're going to be taking a look at the mechanics and some of the technical elements that are involved in a shootout situation. So let's get right to it. We're going to see the a blue skater enter into the picture. The blue skater just came from the center face-off dot, coming in with some speed. And what you'll see next is the goalie's going to be in one of several different positions. And so we're going to take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of different moves that happen with the goalie in such different situations. So we'll freeze it right here. This is with the goalie out really far. It's unusual to see a goalie out this far, but this is just going to show you a little bit more specifically what you want to take advantage of and not take advantage of when a goalie is out this far. So the first thing to take a note is that when the goalie's out this far, the puck has very little room to make it into the net if you were to try to shoot from this situation. So we're going to take a look at some angles here. If you were to try to shoot this past the goalie, the angle that you have open to you is, in this case, about 3 degrees. And it's going to be a little bit different in a real hockey situation, but I'm just trying to make an example out of this. If you take a look at how many degrees are open, then it's going to be 3 degrees on each side, which is 6 degrees total. And if you take a look at how much the goalie is blocking, if you just go right up to the edge of the goalie there and take a look at the angle there, the goalie is, blocking a good 22 degrees. So out of about, let's call it 25 degrees, there's only a few degrees open for you to sneak that puck around, which is going to make it really difficult to try to get a shot off around the goalie in either of these directions. So shooting from this position with the goalie out this far is not your best choice. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what happens when the goalie moves back a little bit. In fact, let's do this. Let's just go ahead and put those. Let's show you the degrees that the goal is open here again, and we're going to do something fun. We're going to show you those few degrees you got on either side here, right? Now let's go ahead and back the goalie up. Oh, look what just happened. More goal opened up. Did you see that? From here to here, more goal opened up because the goalie's moving further back towards the crease. So what that does is it means you just gained another, 4 degrees or so. So now all of a sudden you have 4 plus 3 on either side. That's 7 degrees on each side, which is 14 degrees total. And we said it was out of about 25. So, you just picked up about a third, 2/3 of the goal opening that are free to you. Okay? And the goalie's basically getting smaller as he moves away from you. Now let's take another look at a third situation where the goalie's as far back as they can be in the crease. And of course in that situation you're gaining a little bit more even. So there's another, let's call it another couple degrees. So now you've got about 9, let's call it almost 10 degrees on either side, and that was out of a total of about 25. So now the goalie's blocking roughly 5 degrees out of the 25, and that leaves you 20 degrees open on either side. So you can start to see where I'm going with this as far as where your best opportunity is to shoot, and that's with the goalie out as back into the crease as far as they can go. Because again, you can see here how much they're blocking when they're out. As they drop back, they're blocking less and less and less. And there you have your best opportunity when the goalie is really seated far back in the crease, really at the goal line. So let's clear that and let's take a look at a normal situation where in a shootout situation the goalie is probably going to be resting at about the top of the crease. Certainly, but they might start out even further, but as you skate in, they're going to kind of drift back a little bit, and they're probably going to be right at the top of the crease by the time you get there. Now what you want to consider is getting the goalie to go out of position. So one thing you could consider here, because we know that your shot angle is not the best, right? We just went through that. It's decent, but it's not the best as if they were further back in the crease. So we're thinking, how can I score a goal without just shooting it right now? So one thing you can do is to try to draw the goalie out of position to make more goal open to yourself. And so to do that, you could fake one direction. It doesn't have to always be to the left. You could fake to the right. This is the same phenomenon. And so what that's going to do is it's going to put the goalie in a situation where they've got to slide over to meet you. Because if they don't slide over to meet you, let's take a look, and you shoot it from here, you've got a nice, healthy, open goal to block. So they've got to come over here to try to block you, right? They come right to this position. They've just shut you down. So you're going to get the goalie to move if you do that. Okay? So now goalie's over here, and what are you going to do? Well, you just got shut down on the left, so why not go to the right? If you go to the right, the goalie's going to have to come back to meet you this way, but they're not going to have enough time probably to fully recover because their momentum was really pushing them, hard in this direction. So now they're going to have to cut back and try to make up for that, which is hard for them to do. So now you're over in this situation and you've got an opportunity to go ahead and shoot. And let's just see what kind of angle you have from here. You've drawn the goalie over to the left, and then they're having to kind of cut back to the right. And so what you've got now is if you're shooting from right here, you've got pretty much full opportunity on the goal. And so that's calling what's called putting a deke on the goalie. And you can see when the pros do this, they might do several moves back and forth to kind of freeze the goalie or to get the goalie to slide one direction or another. But really, honestly, a good hard move in one direction and then cutting back the other direction could leave you with a wide open net, such as in this case right here. Now, let's move forward a little bit. Let's say the goalie's back in the crease and you've just come in, you're coming in fast, and you look up at the goalie and you say, wait a second, they're not here, they're actually back here. Well, let's see what that affords you. That gives you an opportunity to put a shot on net. And what you want to do is get into where you're about, call it 5 to 10 feet. Some are 5 to 15 feet, but let's call it 10 feet. Because once you're right here, you're closer than you were out here, right? When you were out here, it's just a longer distance to shoot. And by the time your shot gets really, to the goal, the goalie's got a pretty good opportunity to pick up on it, see where it's coming, and block it. But if you can skate in a little bit further, and so get to right about here, the goalie, you take a good shot, the goalie's not going to have as much time to react to it. See? So you want to get to about here. And if you do, we just talked about how much of the goal was open to you. And so from this position, you've got a nice chunk of goal open here. It's about 13 degrees on each side. And the goalie is taking up, let's call this the total. So it's about, let's make the math easy on ourselves. So let's say it's out of a total of 26 degrees, you've got 13 degrees available to you on the right. So the goalie is taking up 1/3 of the total goal space, or on the right side of the goal, they're taking up half the goal. Okay, so that's a little bit of math there for you. But if you can keep up, even if you can't keep up with the numbers, just understand that you've got a pretty good open net on the sides of the goalie in at this close range. It's going to be hard for them to cover when you're shooting it really fast at close range. Okay, so like I said, you've got either, you can go one direction or the other. The goalie isn't going to have a lot of time to react, so you pick a side that you want to go for, and you go ahead and you take that shot. So just to recap, if you were to try to deke or make a move at this point instead of shooting it when the goalie is really far back, what happens is the goalie doesn't have very far to move to come over and block you. So you are going to find that if you make that move with the goalie on the goal line, look, how far did they have to move? They made like one, all they had to do is just slide over just a very, very small amount to make up for that cut that you did And then what happens once they do that is, let's see what happens to your angle. So you think, oh, I'm going to put a move on the goalie and get a better angle. Well, when the goalie's on the goal line, guess what happened to your angle? Okay, you've got a very small angle to try to get in there. And really, if you think about it, right here, the goalie has kind of shut you down over here, and you've got very little room left to try to sneak something in right here. And they don't have to move very far to block that. So you really limited yourself in terms of your options if you try to deke far down by the crease when the goalie is really on the goal line. So save that move for when the goalie's out, playing out of the crease, really close up to you as you're coming in. And when they're back on the goal line, that's your best opportunity to shoot. Okay, so that just gives you some of the fundamentals, some of the ideas, the physics and the geometry, if you will, of a shootout situation. And so I really encourage you to watch this video several times over so you can really get that. As you're skating down, you should look up and assess where the goalie is. Keep in mind the goalie is going to be moving back towards the net as you come in closer if the goalie knows what they're doing, because they're trying to take advantage of this geometry themselves. The goalie wants to know that he's out on you if you look like you're going to shoot it, and back deep in the crease if it looks like you're going to try to put a move on them. Okay, so watch it over and over. Try to get those fundamentals down. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to get more of these videos as they come out. And I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you get a lot of goals on your shootout situations. Take care.